And we are inching ever closer to that big GotBot True review, episode 600, but we're not there yet. And today our focus is going to be this. It is a Generation Selects figure. In fact, it's Nightbird, though you'd never know it from the box. Nevertheless, she is going to be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course subscribe. Why not? And while you're at it, that's right man, hit that notification bell please, because it lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, the Everything Factor, Transformers, Collectors, NL, the Autobot family, and me everywhere across social media. And this is the box, a Generation Selects box for Nightbird. It's not very exciting or snazzy, and if this is the future of packaging, I don't really dig it. I don't particularly like it. But that's just me. Maybe you absolutely adore it. I don't know. At this point, we still have Nightbird inside, and all I can really tell you is that she's a reuse of the Siege Chromia mold, which I've had my issues with. We're going to see how she shapes up when we head over to the table and take a closer look at this bot. And here we have the ever-popular Generation Selects packaging. It says Transformers, War for Cybertron trilogy on the top, so apparently Selects is part of the War for Cybertron trilogy. Who knew? I assume this probably says Selects. I don't know. We have that Autobot symbol. These are not good boxes. Like, if this is the future of packaging, it just goes to show how much Hasbro and Takara figures look. You know, collectors don't need to see the figure. You know, the whole point of being able to see the figure is to entice kids. But these aren't really, I don't think, for kids. They're for collectors. It's really a collector line. I mean, how many kids are going to even know who Nightbird is? The problem is, we know that there is often a lot of QC issues with pieces missing, or you know, 2 left arms or 2 right legs or something like that. And this doesn't allow you to look at it. It's not, I don't like it. I don't like, I respect the strength of the box. I do like that. But I don't like that you can't see anything. Inside we have, of course, Nightbird. I think we've wasted enough time on the box. Let's begin by taking a look at her accessories first. And first we have this gray, I think it's supposed to be like a grenade thing. It has a little slot in the top where you can put the other one. It has like this mustard gold paint. I kind of like it, although a lot of people do not. And it's the same thing that came with Chromia. If you didn't like them with Chromia, there's nothing different here. She also comes with the exact same blaster as Chromia. It is cast in gray and painted in this like mustard gold, I suppose. You can see how we have a section attached up top. You can of course take it off and attach it to the front, kind of like a silencer, I suppose. Either way, these aren't swords, and I don't really know many ninjas that use grenades and blasters. And of course we have those nice siege instructions. I thought she was Selects. Is she Siege or is she Selects? I don't know. Okay, I don't really care, but like, I guess that even the Selects releases are considered to be part of the Siege line? I don't know. Either way, it's Siege type instructions, and guess what? Those instructions are actually pretty big and pretty clear, but of course my favorite part, and you probably know this by now, and yes, my favorite part is always the accessory stats. And you know what? I take back what I said about the grenades and about the blaster, because it's kind of explained nicely here. Right up top, we find out that we have flash grenades. I can buy that. Flash grenades, smoke grenades, something like that, so that she can, you know, throw off her adversaries while she does her ninja-ish tactics. Then we can use the like silencer section of the blaster along with the 2 grenades and put it together to become like a baton, they call it. I suppose it's intended to be reminiscent of her nunchucks, even though they're not nunchucks because it's one solid piece, so they call it the baton. I can get behind that. and it's actually quite strong and very accurate when wielded by her. And of course, then we have our blaster. And our blaster is like the Venomizer blaster or something. You know what? I guess like a poison dart gun. I can get behind that too. I was going to say maybe she can use it to like repel things. Maybe it's like a grappling hook type of thing. But like this works too. So actually, her accessories maybe make sense. You will notice that the grenades are strong, but they don't have a great accuracy, and they have an okay range, but they don't need to because it's a flash grenade. The baton is a melee weapon, so she's going to use that no problem in like close quarters combat with her adversaries. And her Venomizer blaster thing, very strong, very accurate, great range. It's actually a pretty powerful accessory. That being said, I personally like giving her as many accessories as possible. Now you can see she's wielding the baton. There's a 5mm port on her back. That's where I have her blaster, her Venomizer blaster put. Of course, because she is technically a siege figure, she has all the kind of ports that Chromia has for weaponizer parts from, say, 6-gun or from, say, I don't know, Cog, because she is, more evilish, maybe Brunt, but I also like the idea of her having swords, so I kind of borrowed the swords from the Generations RC, and in fact that same mold was reused as a version of Nightbird, where she came with these exact same swords. They weren't blue, they were yellow there, which made sense, I suppose, that like they stick with the whole kind of gold motif. Now, for anyone not in the know, here are the two figures next to each other. Why am I showing the Selects Nightbird with RC? Because like I said, the RC mold was reused in 2015 to make Legends Nightbird, it's a great mold. That was a great figure. It had like a lot of silver on it. The face sculpt was pretty good. It came with a couple of sais, a couple of swords. It was very like Ninja Turtle-esque. It looked the part decently. It really did. But when we talk about the accuracy to the animation, as much as I like that one, I feel like this one might be just slightly more accurate. Now, I could be wrong about that. And it's really just my feeling, but this definitely fills the bill. Honestly, the yellow is where it should be, the purple is where it should be, the face sculpt is great, we have the black forearms, we have the black knees, we have the black shoes. Everything else is kind of like a gray color on her. I don't know, maybe it's like 6 and 1/2 dozen the other. Like, I feel like when I look at the Legends one, that I really want to give that a score of about a 10. I want to give this a score of about a 10. I feel like Nightbird is a character that they've done justice to now a couple of times. At least in terms of the way she looks. So we see her here with RC. Here she is as well with her mold sister, if you will, Chromia. Honestly, I think it looks better on Nightbird. And here she is with another deluxe Decepticon, and you can see that there is a comparable size comparison here. She is your kind of typical deluxe size figure. As a matter of fact, she was about the same size as RC, who was admittedly a small deluxe for the time, but she falls in line with the size that we have come to sort of expect. So I'm cool with that. And we've reviewed all 3 of those at the different points here on the channel. I don't know, I'll throw in some cards, or we'll put the links to those reviews at the end. Somewhere you'll be able to find my look at Chromia, at RC, and of course at Skytread. I'm going to call them flywheels, but I think it's officially Skytread. Anyway, great start here. We have a 10. Fantastic start. What about the articulation? Well, the articulation does leave something to be desired, at least in my mind. The head. It can look way up. It can look kind of down. It does go left or right, but like the way that it is molded, the chin sort of comes down in the way. Like, You can get it over here, but you need to like lift it kind of up over her shoulder and put it down. A little bit anyway. Maybe it's better range than I thought. Maybe it is a better range than I thought. I'm going to give her the head there. The arms, they can go really all the way around. They can go well out. The shoulders are really, really tight, I find. Bicep swivel, 90 degree at the elbow. The wrist can hinge in, but it doesn't swivel or anything like that. Then we get to the legs. By the way, at this point, everything is the same between this version of Nightbird and the other mold version of Nightbird. The legs can go out, but you just saw what happened there. Her waist skirt piece likes to pop off. That's really, really unfortunate as far as I'm concerned. But the legs can go out farther than they can in RC. They don't like to stay out. They're very loose as far as I'm concerned. Thigh swivel, very loose, but it's not going to come off because it's built inside the thigh, really. So I don't think you have any concerns of it coming off. When we get to the knee, again, it only bends really that far unless we move this piece on the side. Then we can get 90 degrees. The knees are definitely better on RC. We do get ankle forward. We do get ankle back, and we do have an ankle tilt that I think is better here than on Chromia. I think it works better here than it does on Chromia. Still, that's a real shame about those pieces on the legs having to really get out of the way. I don't know, I find them obtrusive. I don't find the backpack as obtrusive as I thought that I would, surprisingly. Pardon me, but I wanted to put the waist section back on. By the way, this blaster can be back here. I'm just going to take it out for now. The articulation, it's okay. I'm gonna say 7.5. I would say 7.5 because I'm in a good mood. I feel like there's things that could have been done better with the articulation, especially with the legs. I don't like that waist piece popping off. Oh, and I forgot to mention, yeah, she does. She has a waist, but you can't use it much here. It's for transformation. You can get a wiggle in robot mode, but it's not a very usable joint. That being said, despite her kind of weaknesses, it's not even weaknesses. Everything's there. It's just you have to move junk out of the way to get it to work. Like, she can score some great dynamic poses. It's just, you know, to bend the knee, you're gonna have to move that other piece that's on the side of the leg, right? Like, it's just little nuisances like that is all. So if we have a 10 for the articulation and a 7.5, we'll say for her, sorry, a 10 for her paint apps, a 7.5 for her articulation. Right now, she's getting somewhere around an 8.25 or so. She's all right. What about the conversion? Well, Nightbird isn't even supposed to have a conversion. Most people know this character, and they know her from the cartoon in that one episode when she was created as like an example of how far human technology has come, and she was supposed to, like, I don't know, benefit mankind. She was made by the renowned Dr. Fujiyama, and by the end of the episode, after she had been like stolen and put under Decepticon control, she is ended up put back like in storage, but not fully deactivated because she like glares at the camera, and then things get weird. We get into like the Legends universe, and I don't know, she's somehow like released from her prison, I guess, I don't know, and she becomes part of like the Six Clan, and like this company finds out about her and decides to make all these clones of her. With the Six Clan, she learns the art of transformation. She doesn't have parts, so I'm not sure how she's learning the art of transformation. They'd have to put a T-cog in her, just saying. And like apparently like her first alt mode is like a swan, and then eventually she becomes a car. It's so strange. She hangs out with Slipstream and Black Arachnia, like they go trick-or-treating at Halloween together. So weird. We find out that like this company making the clones, like their science and development division is like ran by Tarantulas. I'm not into the Japanese storytelling. It's too out there for me. But like, my point is, she does have kind of a rich life, we'll say, after that one G1 episode. Even though that G1 episode is definitely her most popularized fiction. What about the transformation? Since she learned the art of it, we might as well jump into it, right? Well, it's your typical transformation that we already saw for Chromia. So guess what? I'm not going to show it in detail again, because we've already gone through it once. You can see the detail in the Chromia review, but I'll just do it quickly here just to give an idea of how it goes. So doing this transformation actually isn't hard, and hopefully, though we're going through it quickly, you'll be able to kind of glean enough detail that you can do it yourself, no problem. I think you should. We begin by taking her head, and it goes back in the body, and when it goes back, we have two little starts that come up here. That's where you can put those grenades, basically. The arms, they can come up over her head, and then if we come around to the back here, we can lift this whole piece off. Now you could leave it in robot mode as a skirt piece, and it does allow a little bit of wiggle room, but not a lot. But it's an option if you want a little more waist wiggle room in robot mode. We bring this piece around, and we bring this piece around the body, and then we need to twist. Maybe it gotta stay open? I thought though that it went in. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you have to twist at the waist first and then close these in. It's been a little while, man. Then we can sort of straighten the canopy section up there. We come up to the arms and we bring an arm down and the other arm down. We fold in the two hands, and that's the upper part of the vehicle done. We take the feet and we straighten the feet up. They do notch together, but I don't find they like to stay together. The little leg pieces on the side, they angle down. And putting the grenade pieces on here is a nuisance, I'll say that. However, before we go to the bottom, I guess it's only fair that we try and do it. Like I said, they're a nuisance. Nevertheless, they go on kinda, sorta like that. That's the back end of the vehicle really done. By the way, you will peg her blaster in right there. I'm not going to do that. Then we come to this section, and it has been a source of controversy because it's, from what I can tell, it's all purple translucent plastic painted black, and you need to come up underneath here and you need to flip a piece out. The hinge right here is purple translucent plastic. It has been known to crack on many because the shape of it isn't exactly rounded. There's a little rectangular corner type of lip. You can, if you want, sand that down just a little bit to allow this to kind of rotate. I have not noticed a problem with mine, but I'm also delicate and I put my finger right across the whole hinge when I flip it out. This will come down, and there's little starts like right there, and there's a little peg that notches up into those starts. I'm going to do it close because I know that this is a area that is delicate, and then we'll look at her finished final car mode. And boom, in the end here we have her vehicle mode. I know I said I wasn't going to put this here, but I did anyway. The transformation is easy. Honestly, I want to give it like a 9 because it's easy. However, I also know that there have been issues with this front hood piece. She rolls fine, by the way. Although I don't think mine's quite straight because she's doing this. And that's my fault, not the mold's fault. I just obviously didn't turn her waist perfectly straight. The thing is, I have to kind of mark it down. I have not experienced the problem with the hood, but I know that many people have. As such, because it's prone to breakage, I have to say that the transformation, though I personally feel it's a 9, more objectively, because it is known to break, I have to mark it down to about a 6. That's unacceptable. That should have been caught in QC and changed before this went to production so that nobody experiences breakage. That's the problem. I feel like QC has really become like a thing of the past. Like quality products they're quickly going by the past because you hear tell of issues like this far too often. We all know that translucent plastic is more delicate. Now the argument could be made that, hey, if you have this, as a collector, you should have the sense to realize that translucent plastic is more delicate, so, you know, maybe you should be more delicate with it. I get that. I understand that as an argument, and I can't really disagree with you. Nevertheless, if it was discovered that this is prone to breakage, maybe the very front of the hood, at the very least, should have been changed to like a solid black piece, rather than a translucent purple painted black. That being said, the paint looks glorious on this man. I love this gloss black. It's fantastic. Overall score for me for the character, I'm going to say she's about, honestly, she's about 8.5. It's a good figure. It's just that it has certain limitations. That being said, if your experience has included the breakage, then I would say that she's maybe 5. Because here's the thing, even if it breaks, the argument could easily be made that she's not supposed to really have an alt mode anyway. Not if what you're most familiar with is that G1 animation. And some people have asked me if I'm planning to take the car parts off of her. There's a pin for the pieces on the legs, a fairly big pin that would have to be removed, so I don't know if I really want to bother with that. And then there's some plastic there you'd have to cut off. You could do it, but I don't know if it's worth it to me. When it comes to the backpack, again, you can remove it, I think, fairly easily, actually. I think it just sort of pops off. At least this piece, because I think it's just kind of frictioned on over a joint there. It might be pinned. I'm not sure if it's pinned. Hold on, we'll find out. Hold on. Never mind, I just looked, it is pinned. So you would have to knock out a gray pin in here for this whole section, and then you have to get the side pieces off. Like, it's more knocking out pins than I'd like to do. If it was just all frictioned on, maybe. But all of this is actually pinned down, so I don't really think it's worth it. Overall, she's pretty great. Not perfect, but pretty great. And here we are with the Selects iteration of Deluxe Class Nightbird, and like, yeah, that's Nightbird. It looks like Nightbird. It's fantastic paint applications and coloring. I totally dig it. What can I say? We've gotten 2 Nightbirds. I think this one looks the part better, at least from front on, because I don't know if a ninja should have like leg pieces and this big of a backpack. That has to make being stealthy difficult. I think that the functionality of the version of Nightbird that used the Generations RC mold was probably better in terms of functionality. In terms of looks, I think this one is better. Things that I like. The coloring. That's definitely where she is strongest. In terms of her articulation, well, the joints are pretty solid, but I have heard of that breakage issue that I mentioned back here during the conversion, and I don't really like these pieces on the side because just like with Chromia, they do sort of get in the way when you try and bend her knee. I'm not a fan of things knocking around. I don't know. The same sort of criticisms that I had with Chromia, I sort of have here. I'm glad to have her because I don't have this character in my collection, but I still feel like there's probably some room for improvement. I do think that because she looks the part better and doesn't have any Decepticon symbol on her, at least not that I can see, I think she's probably the better option to have over the earlier version that used that RC mold. But that's completely a subjective thing. I don't know if there's really a wrong answer to which one is better or worse. They both have their strengths, they both have their weaknesses. I'm just happy to add the character to my collection. Let me know what you think about her and how you think she turned out. I don't know, she's all, like, she's all right, you know, she's okay. You know, I love to hear from you guys about these guys, or girls in this case. Yeah, I don't know, I dig her. Will I take these pieces off? I don't know, man. I mean, there's a lot that you gotta do with that, and it might leave her with a bit of a funky back. Let me know if you do it, or if you would do it. I don't know. I'm up in the air about her, like, much things I like, but I have the exact same criticisms with her that I had with Chromia. Anyway, as I started to say, let me know what you think about her. I appreciate you dropping by and giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I know how important it is to you. Please, if you haven't already done so, I very much ask that you hit that subscribe button. It helps me out so very much. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, there's a donation link down in the description. Don't ever forget that you, yes, you right there, you make a difference somehow, some way, every day. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams, at the stop motion premiere, specifically with Universal Collision Season 2. Next episode coming up this Friday, by the way, or the old-fashioned way, right here inside the videos.